I've lost about 70 pounds in the course of 2 years, starting with a fitness class. And that really helped me to understand what I was doing wrong and what I needed to change with my lifestyle.
It's helped me be a better student because I think I am more awake in class when I have the vitamins I need. And it helps me pay attention more, and it just helps me want to get more active and stay fit.
When you don't eat such sugary products, it helps you to stay awake more and help you to focus.
Good job. Go, Devin, go. Atta boy. Good job.
Students' self-concept, their image of themselves and their belief in their own efficacy as learners was improved and higher for those who are physically active than those who say, yeah, I'm really not very active and I'm not in very good shape.
I just decided I wanted to get healthy, get in shape, look better, feel better about myself, and get good grades.
Research shows that a child who is socially and emotionally healthy can do better in school and raise their academic scores.
Being part of the wellness program and supporting that stressful day, getting together and doing things like the walking club and the yoga, sharing recipes with other teachers, making healthy choices for lunch, gets you in a better mood, you feel better, which directly affects being in the classroom. I have 3 choices, Walt, and the rest of you are out lunch.
What we're really trying to do is we want to do the best thing possible to promote an optimal learning environment.
The way our current system is, we have taken a very narrow focus on how we assess how well children are doing in schools. And that focus has been solely on academic achievement. And there's much more that helps and assists children to learn other than just coming to school and addressing the reading and the math.
I saw kids that would come to school with problems before they were walked in the door. Life stuff, family problems.
Children come to us with more than just their math book or their science book in their backpacks. They come to us with all other kinds of excess baggage. We have to address that because those issues are with that child and they're in school. And we know that it doesn't matter how great a curriculum you have, how great a teacher there is, or how great a mentor you have. You can pour all the tutoring hours you want into this child, but if it's a child that's facing violence, or is depressed, or is hungry, there's nothing that can address that issue other than taking care of that basic need first, because they are just not going to be ready to learn.
I just feel really strongly that parents should demand an educational experience for their children that embraces the developmental assets of the whole child and does not ignore one entire facet or a child's social, physical, and emotional well-being in the name of promoting test success.
If that child is awake, if that child had great sleep last night, if that child had good nutrition last night, if that child had an environment where their parents like them, if that child is happy to be at school, then we've got a great product sitting in front of us, and now we need to decide what can we do with that.
I did some research on how students' health affects their achievement levels, and one of the things it said was healthy kids score better, do better, and are more effective in the classroom.
We need to view health as a component of providing a great academic environment in which students flourish.
Programs that address the health of kids have been reduced or cut. And we're seeing physical education reduced, we're seeing health education reduced, we're seeing recess completely cut or reduced. Counselors are being reduced. And so the need was there to actually bring in a process to help schools come together and focus more on what are the needs of these kids.
You look at kiddos and you look at staff both, and you realize that wellness is something that's going to last a lifetime. As an elementary principal, I think I have some impact on what programs we can offer and what activities we can offer within a school system. And to me, one of the most important things, we want to teach our kids how to read, how to write, how to do math, but we also want to teach them lifelong skills of what's it going to be healthy in life? What does it look like? What activities can we do? And I have a lot of staff on board that understand that that is a big part of what life will be about after school. And so we decided that we were going to look at the coordinated school health, and we really started to look specifically at programs that would affect our students and our staff in a positive manner.
Probably the reason that a lot of this is on the forefront now for schools is because CDC actually saw that obesity was an issue in our children. We're seeing more kids coming to school with asthma. Sleep apnea is huge. We know that kids who are obese miss an average of 9 more days than kids who are healthy and fit. And so Nebraska Department of Education realized the importance of health relation to children's learning, because we know that the habits they pick up in early childhood and adolescence carry into adulthood. And they took a look at the economic costs, the high insurance rates, all these things, and implemented what we call the coordinated school health policy.
Coordinated school health is a pretty big thing.
It's a full gamut of things. It's not just the PE program. It's our staff being aware of their health so they can promote it and be champions of promoting it also.
A lot of the schools start with addressing the physical activity and the nutrition needs of their kids.
When they come to school without having breakfast in the morning, it greatly affects how they're going to react within the classroom. They're not as alert. They're just not very satisfied. And you know, a healthy child is someone who has a full stomach that's eaten the right foods.
The thing that's probably changed the most about school lunches since we started with the coordinated school health is that we've all become more aware of the choices that the students are making in the lunchroom, where all those of us who are in the lunchroom, we do a better job of encouraging the children to make healthy choices.
The main stuff's like meat, but at the salad bar, they're all healthy choices: fruits, vegetables.
There is yogurt pack, hot lunch, chef salad, and cold lunch, and sandwich pack.
There's not so many students bringing a cold lunch, a lunch from home. They're participating more in our school lunch program because of the varieties offered. And if you watch as they go through the lunch line, it does amaze me. You know, the photos up for the nutrition program have them filling their plate half with fruits and vegetables, and they're doing it. They're really taking advantage of the salad bar and the fruits and vegetables that are on that salad bar.
Last year, a grant was written for the Title I buildings where they bring in snacks 3 times a week for the kids. It's always a fresh fruit or a fresh vegetable.
There are pears, oranges, apples,
grapes, bananas, pineapple,
celery, carrots.
Throughout the afternoon, you get a little bogged down in the day, and here comes this snack at the, halfway through your day.
Our latest venture has been a snack shack.
It's where you can get healthy snacks. They encourage you to go bring money and get some healthy snacks.
We're teaching our kids about healthy eating after school.
I really love going there on Fridays to get a healthy snack because you get hungry at the end of the day.
Whether it be fruit, dried fruit, whether it be a water instead of a pop.
They have a really good selection. My favorite are when they have the pickles. That's my favorite.
Nutrition in the last 15 years has changed. We used to have pop machines, candy machines, on all day long. We no longer do that.
Snacks have been cut out altogether, like the sugary snacks. We have healthy snacks now, of course, but we used to have brownies that were like this big, and now they're non-existent, which is a good thing.
A number of years ago, students realized that this trend was happening and we needed to do some different things. We went to the students and said, we're gonna have to do some changes. What changes do you want? A milk machine. They wanted that.
That's a small step that any school district can take and involve students in as leaders.
It went like wildfire. People loved it.
Those small learnings over time actually create quite a bit of positive momentum for healthy choices.
Physical education is a curricular content area. Physical activity is a component of physical education. We want kids to be physically active in physical education. However, it's a content area where we actually teach the children the knowledge, skills, behaviors, and attitudes to keep themselves healthy for a lifetime.
A lot of kids at school, they like PE the most.
What means to me a physical education teacher is I get to wear a lot of different hats. I'm educating in how to be fit and learn a proper diet and have fun.
Well, we have PE every day, and we usually run for 3 or 4 minutes before we start like a game or something.
On Tuesdays and Thursdays are fitness days.
We have all these stations for things. Like sometimes we have a rope, then we have stilts,
pull-ups, sit-ups, jump ropes, hula hoops, stuff like that.
Then we have they're these little scooter things that you can do like an alligator crawl on.
We just do different kinds of activities that helped every section of our body.
The problem that was identified here was rates of childhood obesity and rates of physical inactivity. And as you know, in the school day, physical activity continues to be cut in order to fulfill academic requirements. And so obviously trying to reach that hour a day, which is a recommended level, 60 minutes a day for kids to get in physical activity, that was a challenge.
Each Wednesday, we call it Walk Wednesdays, we would go down to our courthouse and we would walk the kiddos up here to the intermediate school.
We all get to the school safely, and we also had exercise for the morning.
This was a simple way that we thought we could begin to introduce more activity in a child's day.
Part of my job is in the mornings. I monitor about 200 children. And one of the things that we were doing before we really got going with coordinated school health was they were just coming into the gym and sitting there. They weren't doing anything for about 10 minutes, 15 minutes. So through talking with different people on the committee, we said, let's dance.
We start to dance at least 2 songs a day because we can't fit in 3 because we have to go to our classes at 8.
It's when you get up and when we're doing dances in the gym so we can be ready to learn.
When we start the day with morning movement, I've heard from the teachers that the kids come in, they're ready for breakfast. They are ready to eat, they're ready to start the day.
We all know now that the educational research tells us that sedentary classroom settings are not best for learning. So when students sit idle for long periods of time, neurologically what ends up happening is your attention drifts, you start to kind of slip into this semi-conscious state where you're not really able to process complex information very well.
It's like your computer. When you don't touch it, it goes to sleep. When you keep moving the mouse, it stays awake. We've got to keep kids awake. We've got to keep kids moving.
And so our teachers have become much better over the last several years at putting physical strategies in place to move students around, add some tactile kinesthetic elements to what they're doing instructionally, and it helps student learning.
We incorporate the wellness program through brain breaks throughout the day. I think it's especially important in the younger grades that are in a self-contained classroom.
Maybe they've studied for 20 minutes and you stop and you do something just to let your brain, take a break from it, and it kind of gets you refocused.
Sometimes we do like jumping jacks or sit-ups or something so our brains can get exercised and ready to do an assignment or a paper.
Sixth graders coordinate a brain break for all students in our school. And so we try to have it an activity that has to do with the time of year. November's brain break was a pumpkin pass.
Brain breaks are just a way to give your brain a break from sitting inside of a building all day. It's nice to just go outside and have some fun.
So the activity included picking up the pumpkin, putting it over your head to the person behind you, and they had to put it under their legs, and we passed the pumpkin over or under till we got to the end, put it in a pile. The last person in line ran to the front, picked out a new pumpkin from the bag, passed it till they had all their pumpkins at the end. I think we get more out of the lesson because of the amount of focus we get in return from the brain break.
And what I found out through the teachers is kids are able to come back and they're able to refocus on what they're doing. And I think the overall what we're doing with the fitness breaks and the movement breaks and stuff like that is it's lowered our number of discipline referrals to my office.
There's this veil of pose of coolness and disinterest and detachment that sometimes adolescent learners want to project that says, no, I'm not going to do that. And that's like more challenging sometimes for teachers at a secondary level to get kids to overcome that initial reticence or reluctance that adolescent students sometimes have with that. You have a teacher who incorporates brain break strategies into her classroom. Over time, what happens is kids embrace that because they see that actually just creates a better learning situation for all of them.
The part of coordinated school health that I'm responsible for is in my health classroom. It's a lot of hands-on stuff. Students take the information they learn, whether it's about salt, sugars, how to read nutrition labels, how to make themselves healthier. What they put in their body, they become. We talk about now, what can we do to lower our BMIs? What are the health risks when we have higher BMIs? And if we have high BMIs as high school students and we don't make changes, what's going to happen when we're 40? Once they get that figured out, they're like, wow. And several students make changes, and they come back the next year and they're like different. It's really amazing that students really take the information that I'm giving them and then apply it to themselves.
We eat a lot of salt every day and we don't even know.
We can easily integrate health education into every content area that our children are involved in.
At the end of a period, I may spend 5 minutes, we may sit down, we'll talk about the systems, how they work. We may talk about prevention, how to prevent from getting colds. The flu season comes around, frequently washing your hands. We'll talk about diet, nutrition, and we talk about some mental health as far as bullying, how to get along, some social skills.
The students here at Norris, I know they're dealing with a ton of stuff, so many pressures of grades, peer pressure, they bully each other on texting and all the things where they can just be mean to each other.
Many of our counselors in the schools are working with our students on how to appropriately handle their emotions. This is an area that used to be taught in health education, but as we see health education being reduced, we're seeing content areas in health education being totally cut out. And emotional health is one of those. Social health, another one. Children need to be taught these skills, and they're not being addressed a lot of times now in the content area. So the counselors are having to take on this role as well.
A counselor, in the most perfect sense, can help students by finding out who they are, their self-identity, their self-awareness.
When our kids walk in the buildings every day, they're worried about where they're going to sleep that night, where their next meal is going to come from. Some of them may have left with mom and dad in an argument. Some of them have had parents get arrested. They've had families that are just going through tough times. Kids are no different than you or I. If I left to go to work and I didn't know if my home would be there, I'd be able to get in my home that night, I wouldn't focus on what my job was or what my expectation for learning was. I'd be worried about that night, what's going to happen after school.
Some of them don't know how to identify a feeling. And if they can first identify, I feel happy, I feel sad, I feel anxious, I feel worried, I feel angry, then you've got the feeling part identified.
Schools that have implemented zones of regulation, which focuses on social-emotional learning, helping young kids self-regulate their emotions.
What zones of regulation does is it connects the feeling or the affective part with the cognitive, the thinking realm, and the behavior. So if we can help children to identify their feelings and have them think about the choices that they make, then we have minimized behaviors tremendously. I see this social emotional need is so imperative because it's inextricably linked to achievement. And if we can have children feel good about themselves, who they are, and that they have a sense of safety and belonging in our schools, we can actually raise the scores on our academic tests.
Several years ago, a needs assessment was completed that looked at the barriers that children and families were encountering as they went through their educational career that often led them to dropping out of school or not being successful. And health was a huge indicator and had a huge impact on the ability of a student to be successful in the classroom.
If we were to call a mom and say your little one possibly has strep, please take them to the doctor, we would then be assuming that A, they had a primary care physician, and B, they had the transportation to get there, and C, they had the language, which for a lot of our families, those three factors would limit them. And the children just wouldn't be treated and they would miss days and days of school.
So we worked with community stakeholders to develop a model that helped address health needs of students that partnered healthcare and school in an environment that families and students felt comfortable. And through that process came building healthy futures to address many of those health needs.
If you were to go to your pediatrician, they have the exact same things that our clinic offers. We're able to do immunizations, we're able to do physicals, sports physicals, and entering kindergarten physicals. We're able to do a variety of tests. We have our own little lab here, so we're able to do, for example, a strep test.
There was a student that had a sore throat. For a couple of days, we were able to do the strep throat culture and determine it wasn't strep throat, that it was actually allergies, and she could go right back to the classroom. The student even had mentioned that she contemplated staying home. Maybe I just need to stay home and rest for a couple days. Well, in that process, she may have lost some educational time and time out of the classroom. So we really work to help the school understand that health does impact a student's ability to be in the classroom, and we hope to address those needs.
A number of years ago, we had a group of staff members who felt that wellness, nutrition, what they were doing at home was not just important at home, but it was important at school, and we found a lot of carryover.
We know that if staff are not healthy, they can't do a good job teaching. And so unless we address the health needs of staff, we can't address the needs of our kids.
Being a teacher, there's different stresses based on different grade levels. What do they need to learn? When do they need to learn it? Having those indicators met by the end of the school year. And as you get older, the stresses get harder because of state testing.
So if our teachers are in the classroom on a daily basis, they're feeling good about themselves, they're taking care of themselves, then that's going to help increase student achievement by having them there.
On a daily basis, teachers can come to me and ask questions about stress. What can I do to help relieve some stress? Or what kind of recipes did you try this weekend that would be easy for my family and fun to make and nice to eat? Or I noticed that you are going swimming every night. Where do you go swimming? Do you have activities that other staff members can do?
I think it is great to have the collaboration with other staff members on wellness. When you're coming into the lounge to eat, years ago, it was, you'd look around, you'd see people eating fast food. Now you're sharing recipes, and it just gets contagious.
Last year, we started a Westgate Wellness Walking Club, and during the cold months, we walked throughout the school, and during the warm months, we walked throughout the neighborhood.
We've kind of gone above and beyond to try to promote wellness within staff. We involve them very much in our family nights, but we also involve them with public health solutions. We give flu shots, provide that opportunity. We provide some health wellness checks where we'll check their blood pressure.
We're screening all of our staff, providing them the opportunity to learn about their health. So it's not just students, it's staff.
Kids are resilient. They're also very smart. They know when they see a teacher, if you're not feeling good or you're not in a good mood, they feel that, they know that, and it affects them academically. So I think coming to school every day and feeling healthier and being in a school district that supports that directly affects the students.
I think in a lot of places, the way policy works is that something can be adopted and then it gets archived. It sits in a 3-ring binder, it's shelved somewhere, it's stuck in a filing cabinet, it's gathering dust, and it's not referenced, and it doesn't really inform in practical ways what people do. Here at Norris, what we've tried to do with our student health policy is we really want it to be a pretty powerful thing that helps to govern our actions on a daily basis.
It's important at 8:30 when they arrive, it's important at 3:30 when they leave, it's important when I'm at basketball practice, when I am singing on stage. It's not just important at the here and now, it's important every day.
I think this school is really good about being healthy, and I think all other schools should be that way.
Work with your school and help them understand that the education of their child goes hand in hand with the health of their child. Ask that they implement school-wide health policies that help ensure that your child is well every day, that it's in a healthy environment.
I think it's very important to have a wellness program in your school because it seems like you can accomplish much more when you're fit and active.
We are not some sort of anomaly or outlier or bizarro world. We are just doing good educational practice. There are an increasing number of school districts across the state that are committed to doing the same kinds of things. If we can commit to doing that together, we will provide a better public education for our kids.